Isochoric and isobaric slopes, we can compute the amount of heat transferred as well as amount of heat rejected. For example, if you take a reversible process, when heat is transferred in a reversible process, we know that the amount of heat, that is dq equal to TdS. In that case, if 1 mole of a gas is heated at constant volume, gas heated at constant volume is nothing but isochoric process. Let us say at a temperature T, then this dq will become dq Cv dt. So if instead of constant volume, if the gas is heated at constant pressure, that is isobaric process, so we can have dq equal to Cp dt. So from these two equations 1 and 3, so you have 1 and 2 and again 1 and 3. Let us see what will happen. From equations 1 and 2, if you see, left hand side is same. So therefore you can equate the right hand side. So when you equate right hand side, sides of 1 and 2, then TdS equal to Cv dt. So you can cross multiply and then get ds by dt as Tb by Cv. This is nothing but the entropy value. Okay, so ds by dt means slope of the curve only. So this gives you ds by dt as the slope of the isochoric curve on the Ts diagram. Similarly, if you take equation 1 and 3, equation 1 is dq equal to TdS, equation 3 equal to dq equal to Cp dt. So when you compare these two equations, left hand side is equal. So therefore you can equate TdS equal to Cp dt. So again you will get isobaric curve. So 1 and 3 you will have isobaric curve. Ts by dt you can write as T by Cp. Here ds by dt gives you the slope of the isobaric curve on the Ts diagram. But because Cp is always greater than Cv, therefore the slope of the isochoric curve is greater than the isoslopic baric curve. Because Cp is greater than Cv, the slope of the isochoric curve is greater than the slope of the isobaric curve. So therefore, based on this, moreover, we can conclude that slope of the, you can take the ratio, slope of the isochoric curve by slope of the isobaric curve if you take. Slope of the isochoric curve is ds by dt equal to T by Cv. Slope of the isobaric curve is ds by dt equal to T by Cp. When you compare these two, you can get as T by Cv by T by Cp. That is nothing but Cp by Cv, which is nothing but gamma. So you can get the specific heat ratio from this. This is how you can calculate gamma value from the slopes of isobaric as well as isochoric curves from the Ts diagrams. Based on this, let us see how do we can calculate entropy of a perfect gas. To find the entropy of a perfect gas or an ideal gas, consider 1 mole of a perfect gas at pressure P, temperature T, and occupying a volume V. Now in that situation, if you can consider dq as the amount of heat given to the gas, then the increase in the entropy you can calculate as ds equal to dq by T. But by first law of thermodynamics, you have an equation dq equal to du plus dw. dw is nothing but pdv. So here the du is the increase in the internal energy of the gas. dw is the external work done. So at constant volume you can represent as dq is equal to, instead of du you can write Cv dt by T plus pdv. Okay. Cv dt only. Cv dt plus Pd. Or you can represent the same in terms of entropy as, therefore, ds equal to ds by T is the entropy. Na? So therefore, Cv dt by T plus Pdv by T. So by dividing the whole expression by T, you will get entropy value. Change in increase in entropy. So therefore, this equation you can modify as change in entropy value as Cv dt by T plus Pdv by T. So to express this entropy in terms of volume V and temperature T, we need to eliminate P from the thermodynamical equation. So therefore, to express entropy in terms of volume and temperature, eliminating P from equation 1, using the equation PV equal to RT gas, ideal gas equation, P will be RT by V. So putting this P equal to RT by V in this equation, we will get ds equal to, substitute here, ds equal to Cv dt by T plus P into, that is RT by V into dV by T. Okay. Now, in the right hand side, for the second term, you can strike off T in both numerator and denominator and readjust it as R into dV by V. Then ds will be Cv dt by T plus R into dV by V. Let it be equation 3. So in this situation, we shall calculate the change in entropy between the initial final state with the consideration that gas is changing from an initial state to a final state. Let the initial state be represented as I. Therefore, initial volume is taken as Vi, initial temperature as Ti, final state as F, final volume as Vf, final temperature as Tf, with initial entropy as Si and final entropy as Sf. So the change in entropy, that is Sf minus Si, when the gas changes from an initial state of volume Vi and temperature Ti to the final state where the volume is Vf and temperature is Tf, can be obtained by integrating this second equation within proper limits. Then we will get as, that means we are here trying to find the change in entropy value. Entropy changing is nothing but Sf minus, entropy is S, from initial to final means from Sf minus Si we have to calculate. Assuming that the gas is changing from an initial state having an initial volume Vi and initial temperature as Ti into a final state F with final volume as Vf and final temperature as Tf, the change in entropy, that is Sf and Si, Sf minus Si, it can be obtained by integrating equation 2 within the proper limits. Then we will get it as integral ds between the limits I to f is equal to integral Ti to Tf of Cv dt by T plus R into integral Vi to Vf of dV by V. So integral ds is nothing but S between the limits I and f, means it becomes Si minus Sf. So it will be Sf minus Si is equal to, take the common thing out of the integral parameter Cv into integral dt by T is nothing but log Tf by Ti plus, of course, to the base E, and R into integral dV by V, that is 1 by V only. So therefore it will become R log Vf by Vi to the base E. Okay. Now this can be in terms of log 10 to the base, log 10 base, then you can represent it as Sf minus Si equal to 2.3026 into multiplied by Cv log Tf by Ti to the base 10 plus R log to the base 10 Vf by Vi. This is how you can express the change in entropy when the gas changes from initial state to final state. Now this we can express, if you want to express in terms of, that is, we want to express entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. So from the first equation, that is, so using this equation, by eliminating V or dV from this equation, we can express the entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. Let us see how do we do this. For that, we again take PV equal to RT. So differentiating, what we will get? PdV plus VdP is equal to RdT. So from this we will find the value dV, because we want to eliminate V as well as dV from this. So dV will be cross multiply RdT minus VdP by P. So using the first equation, ds is found to be CVdT plus PdV. So P into dV means what? RdT minus VdP by P into 1 by T. Because first equation says ds equal to CVdT plus PdV by dt, na? So CVdT plus, instead of P into dV, you can write this dV by T. So this will become RdT minus VdP into PT. So strike off P and rewrite it as ds equal to CVdT plus RdT by T minus VdP by T. Again, use the equation PV equal to RT, from where you can find the value of V as RT by P. So substitute V value as RT by P, you will get ds equal to CVdT minus plus RdT by T minus Rd by P. So by striking off the values, got it? Now, so using Mayer's relation Cp minus Cv equal to R, we can simplify ds as Cp dt minus Rdp by P. Okay. Now integrating this equation within the proper limits. So we will get integral ds between I to f means Sf minus Si equal to Cp into integral Ti to Tf of dt by T minus R into integral Pi to Pf of dP by P. So that you will get it as, in terms of logarithms, Sf minus Si equal to Cp into, this is dt by T, integral dt by T within the limit. That means log Tf by Ti to the base e minus R log Pf by Pa to the base e. And of course this you can convert into log 10 base s by multiplying with 2.3026. So Sf minus Si will become 2.3026 into Cp log Tf by T to the base 10 minus R log Pf by Pa to the base Pa to the base 10. This is how. So this is how we can express the change in entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. Similarly, if we want to express change in entropy in terms of pressure and volumes, we have to eliminate, like earlier we have eliminated volume V and dV. Now we will eliminate temperature T from equation 1. Therefore, how do we get it? So again we will take the equation 1. From this equation we will eliminate the temperature T to get change in entropy in terms of temperature as PV equal to RT is being used. Therefore, from PV equal to RT we will get T equal to PV by P, PV by R. So putting the value of T equal to PV by R in the main equation. If T equal to PV by R, then what is dt? dt is equal to d by dt of PV by R, no? That is PdV plus VdP by R. So putting this value in the ds entropy term, we will get ds equal to Cv into PdV dt. dt is PdV plus VdP by RT plus PdV, P into dV by dt, dV by T. So now expand this. Wherever you have RT, what is RT? RT is nothing but PV only, na? And what is T? T is PV by R only. So putting RT is equal to PV and T is equal to PV by R. This we can simplify as Cv into PdV plus VdP by PV plus P in dVR by PV. Now, Expanding this, we will get CV into PdV by PV. You can strike off PV. Therefore, it will become CV dV by V plus CV into VdP by PV. That is CV into dP by P plus you can strike off P here. Then it will remain R into dV by V. This is the expression you got. Right? Again, we will apply Mayer relation. Cp minus Cv equal to R. Since Cp minus Cv equal to R, then this will become ds is equal to Cv into dP by P plus Cp into dV by V. So therefore, integrating this equation within the proper limits, we get it as, this is integral ds within the limits I to f. Again, this is within the integral, within the limits, because it is pressure, it is Pi to Pf, and because it is volume, within the limits Vi to Vf. So taking the constants out of the integral operator, integral ds between the limits I to f means this is Sf minus Si. This is Cv into integral Ri to integral Pi to Pf of dP by P plus Cp into integral Vi to Vf of dV by V. Let us see how it can get simplified. So integrating within the proper limits means this one. So therefore, it will become Sf minus Si equal to Cv into integral Pi to Pf of dP by P, 1 by P is nothing but log Pf by Pi to the base E plus Cp into log Vf by Vi to the base E. Now converting into base 10, you can have Sf minus Si as 2.3026 into Cv log Pf by Pi to the base 10 plus Cp log Vf by Vi to the base 10. So we got three expressions. What are they? So we got this first expression. Then in terms of temperature and pressure, we got this expression. Then we got in terms of pressure and volume as this expression. So we got three equations or three terms. So any one of these three expressions can be used for calculating the change in entropy for a perfect gas. We can calculate change in entropy for a perfect gas in terms of pressure and volume, similarly in terms of temperature and pressure, similarly in terms of all the three, in terms of volume and temperature. Like that we can calculate the entropy of a perfect gas. Now let us understand something what is known as thermodynamical potentials. We all know that the thermodynamical state of a system may be represented in terms of certain selected variables like pressure, volume, temperature, and now of course entropy. Any two of these variables are independent and rest are taken as dependent. So there exists certain relation among these thermodynamical variables. Suppose if you take the first and second law of thermodynamics, they provide two different relations which can be expressed as the relations given here. dq equal to du plus pdv. Similarly, dq equal to tds. These are the two relations that are obtained from first and second law of thermodynamics. So for the complete description of the system, apart from these things, we require certain other relations apart from these variables. So therefore, for this purpose, we use certain energy terms or some functions of these variables which are to be known as thermodynamical potentials. Let me quickly recap the introduction. Now we are having understood the basics of thermodynamics and their expressions. Let us understand something called thermodynamic potentials, and thereby we obtain something what is known as Maxwell's equations. We know that thermodynamical state of a system may be represented in terms of some selected variables like pressure, volume, temperature, and entropy. Any two of these variables are independent and rest are dependent. So therefore, there exists certain relation among these thermodynamical variables. If you look at the first and second law of thermodynamics, they provide two relations as given here, as dEq equal to du plus pdv and similarly dq equal to tds. For the complete description of the system, certain other relations are also required. So for this purpose, we use certain terms or some functions of the variables like pressure, volume, temperature and entropy, which are what are known as thermodynamic potentials. Therefore, you can define thermodynamic functions or potentials as energy functions which are formed by combining the basic thermodynamic variables. So, combining the basic thermodynamic variables, if we can arrive at energy functions, then they are to be termed as thermodynamic potentials. Generally, when we combine these variables as energy functions, some of the thermodynamic potentials we get are internal energy represented as U, something like Helmholtz function represented as F, something what is known as enthalpy. Enthalpy is nothing but the total heat function represented as capital H, Gibbs function represented as G. So these are the thermodynamic potentials which we shall discuss one after the other. Let us understand one of the thermodynamical potentials, what is known as internal energy. We all know that internal energy is generally represented by the alphabet U. So the internal energy of the system is the energy which it possesses due to its molecular constitution and motion. This is nothing but the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is due to the motion of the molecules. Potential energy is due to the mutual attraction of molecules. Anyway, this is the sum of kinetic and potential energies. But according to first law of thermodynamics, there is a certain function U known as internal energy of the variables which characterizes the system. So when the system passes from one state to another, the change in internal energy does not depend on the path followed, but it depends only on the initial and final states. So it is independent of path, but dependent of the state. So if you take a complete cycle in that context, for a complete cycle, the change in the internal energy is, if you take 0. For a complete cycle, the change in the internal energy is 0 because the system is returning to its initial state. So let us identify the change in internal energy is already given by the equations known to us as. So from equation 1, du is equal to dq minus pdv. Similarly, du equal to tds minus pdv. So let us together call it as equation 3. This is from equation 1. This is from equation 2. We are calculating du value. Let us go back and recollect. So from equation 1, you are calculating du. du will be dq minus pdv. What is dq? du equal to dq minus pdv is nothing but tds minus pdv. Right? That is only what we are representing here as du equal to dq minus pdv, but dq equal to tds from equation 2. Therefore, du will become tds minus pdv. Let it be equation 3. Okay. Now on this, with respect to the variables entropy S and volume V, let us take partial differentials of the integral. So partial differentials of the internal energy with respect to the variables entropy S and volume V, we can get it as something like this. By taking the partial differentials of the internal energy with respect to these two variables, we will get this as dou u by dou s of v is nothing but T, and dou u by dou v of s equal to minus P. Now these are the relations connecting the internal energy U with the thermodynamical variables S, V, T and P. And because du is a perfect differential, we can write this therefore as dou by dou v of dou u by dou s v equal to dou by dou s of dou u by dou v into s. Right? Therefore, what will happen to dou t by dou v? So, dou t by dou v of s equal to minus dou p by dou s of v. Let it be equation 6. Right? Now, this is nothing but Maxwell's first thermodynamical relation. Nothing but Maxwell's first thermodynamical relation. Now, let us look at yet another thermodynamical potential as Helmholtz function, which is represented as F. Now, from first and second law of thermodynamics, we can write du as Tds minus Pdv. Hope by this time you are familiar with this value, because dq is equal to du plus Pdv. Therefore, dq is nothing but Tds. Therefore, du equal to Tds minus Pdv. So, from first law of thermodynamics and first and second law of thermodynamics, we can write like this. Now, consider a process in which the system exchanges heat with the surroundings and thereby maintains the temperature to be constant. Then in that sense, Tds can be written as d into T of s, d into Ts. Okay. Now substituting the value of Tds in the above equation. So what we will get? du equal to T into Tds, what we can write? D into Ta minus Pdv. Okay. So send this to the left side and take the T common out, D common out. Then you will have D into U minus T is equal to minus Pdv. Okay. Now this U minus Ts is nothing but the F, Helmholtz function. So therefore, if U minus Ts is taken as Helmholtz function F, you can write this equation as dF is equal to minus Pdv. Pdv is nothing but dW only, na? Therefore, minus Pdv is equal to minus dW. So this is what is known as Helmholtz free energy or work function. So therefore, from this you can conclude that the external work done on the system is equal to the decrease in Helmholtz function, because it is minus now. So if dF equal to minus dW, then dW equal to minus dF. That means this is decreasing. So therefore, from this you can conclude that the external work done on the system is equal to the decrease in Helmholtz function. Now suppose in that sense, if system undergoes an infinitesimal reversible change from an initial equilibrium state to a final equilibrium state, then the Helmholtz function changes by a small amount as something like this, dW. dW means dq minus du only, na? So for dF is equal to du minus Tds minus sdt. But what is du? du is nothing but Tds minus Pdv. So when you substitute that, dF will become du, that is Tds minus Pdv minus Tds minus sdt. So these two will get cancelled. So therefore, dF will be left with dF equal to minus sdt minus Pdv. Here, your T and V are independent. T and V are independent variables. So therefore, by taking the partial differentials of F, we can have dou F by dou V of T is equal to minus P and dou F by dou T of V equal to minus S. So let it be equation 7. But dF is a perfect differential. And because dF is a perfect differential, then we can write this as dou by dou V of dou F by dou T V equal to dou by dou T of dou F by dou VT. Right? Therefore, we can conclude that dou S by dou V of T is equal to dou P by dou T of V. Right? So let this be equation 8. So this equation 8 is nothing but Maxwell's second thermodynamic relations. Earlier we got Maxwell's first thermodynamic relation. Now we got Maxwell's second thermodynamic relation. So if you summarize this session, we try to understand the thermodynamical potentials as considering the thermodynamical state of a system being represented in terms of variables like pressure, volume and temperature and entropy. By keeping any of the two variables as independent, rest being taken as dependent, we understood there is a need of existence of some other relations among these thermodynamical variables. Based on the first and second law of thermodynamics for complete description of the system, we identified that there are some more relations that are required. For that, we use certain energy terms and some functions of variables like pressure, volume, temperature and entropy, which are known as thermodynamical potentials. And thus we define thermodynamic functions as potentials or energy functions which are nothing but formed by combining the basic thermodynamic variables. In that, the thermodynamic potentials we have discussed listed have been internal energy, Helmholtz function, enthalpy and Gibbs function. Among them, we tried to obtain internal energy as Maxwell's first thermodynamical equation and Helmholtz function as Maxwell's second thermodynamic relations. In the next session, we try to look at related to other two thermodynamical potentials as enthalpy and Gibbs function later.